Hello everybody, this is your boy the Almighty Green Talent coming with a video, and this video pertains to the receivers that the Eagles drafted in recent history. But before I begin to the video, don't forget to comment, like, share, subscribe to this video. Don't forget to comment after the video is complete and let me know what you think about the content that I'm presenting to you guys this early Thursday morning. Well, late Thursday morning rather, because it is after 10:30, should be 11 o'clock. Alright, my time actually, 11 o'clock my time actually. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, now, I just got through looking at a couple of guys who are Eagles content creators, and they mentioned some of the players that the Eagles got on the roster currently in this year's draft. But I'm going to talk about the guys in the past draft that the Eagles have drafted, and these are the wide receivers. These guys have height and size on them. I'm not going to get into statistics, but I'm just going to mention the guy by name, and you should know who I am referring to. Okay, let's go ahead and start with Harold Carmichael. Now, Harold Carmichael was Eagles' first tallest receiver. He was 6'8", about 230 pounds, somewhere longer been there. A multi-Pro Bowler, multi-All-Pro. He's the first receiver the Eagles has ever had with multiple Pro Bowl games, as far as I can think of. If you guys hear the noise in the background because I'm at work, the clothes show that you know that's where I'm at. But anyway, he has had multiple Pro Bowls, multiple All-Pro, first team, second team All-Pro. This guy was one of the elite receivers at his time with the Eagles. He played during the 70s and the 80s in the Eagles' history. He's also, I think 2 or 3 years ago, he went to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And matter of fact, he was the first tallest Eagle receiver, fourth I can remember. And maybe Too Tall Jones of the Cowboys, who may be the first one. I'm not exactly sure. But as far as I know, he's the first Eagles receiver the Eagles have ever had at 6'8". He's the tallest receiver. And like I said, he was drafted somewhere in the 1970s and the early 80s, and when he played, I think he retired like 82, 83, somewhere like that. I'm not exactly sure when he retired, but I know he retired in the 80s, that I didn't know. Okay, alright, now, I don't think the Eagles have had any more taller receivers. They may have, but I'm not on them at the moment. I'm talking about the ones in recent history in the 2000s. I started with Harold Carmichael. Harold Carmichael was the first Eagles receiver who has height and size on him. Now, if you guys remember Marvin McNutt, this is the guy that Andy Reid drafted in 2012. I think he was like a 4th or 5th round pick. Marvin McNutt never materialized as a legitimate receiver because of the draft status. He wound up being a bust. And these guys, I'm mentioning to you guys, 4 or 5 of these guys, well, 6 of these guys are busts. But Marvin McNutt naming the first bust the Eagles ever had a receiver. I can go ahead with Calvin, the other boy Calvin. I can go ahead with them other guys, but those guys were pretty good for the Eagles. They wasn't busts. But Marvin McNutt was a bust. Was a late. I think he was a 4th or 5th round pick. Might have been 5th round, fourth I can remember. He drafted back in 2012. He is the first receiver the Eagles have had that was a bust. And all these guys, y'all, were drafted under Howie Roseman. The only receiver Howie Roseman didn't draft was Harold Carmichael. These guys I'm to you were drafted by Howie Roseman. Alright, second on the list, or third on the list actually, is Jordan Matthews, who was drafted 2014. He was drafted in the Chip Kelly days of the Philadelphia Eagles. Matter of fact, a year after Chip Kelly won to his second year, he was drafted. Jordan Matthews was probably by far the best receiver the Eagles had as a late draftee. He bounced around the league for a while. Matter of fact, I remember him being traded at one point when he came back to the Eagles, I think twice, I believe. He played with the Eagles. I think he played with the Eagles 3 or 4 times, as far as I can remember, between 2014 and 2016 or 17, somewhere longer than there. I think it was 7. I think it was 2014 to 16. And Jordan Matthews, I think I saw his statistics. He had like 100 and some, 2 or 3. I think he got 200 and some catches for 3,000, over 3,000 yards. He had 35 or 40 touchdowns. These are all with the Eagles, and these are all with the Eagles. And he bounced back and forth with the Philadelphia Eagles. He by far the best. I can remember of the draft class. So I wouldn't like to call Jordan Matthews a bust. Secondly, thirdly, well, fourth was Mack Hollins. You gotta remember Mack Hollins. Mack Hollins was drafted 2017. Now this is a guy who actually materialized as a third wideout. He never materialized as such. This is a guy who part of the Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl run. So he do have a ring. I think he played like 2 years with the Eagles because I remember him saying that he wanted to play on special teams. Because he said he never really actually wanted to be a feature wideout. He wanted to be nothing more than special teams. So I think when the Eagles got hold of what he said, they released him, and he wound up playing for the Miami Dolphins for a few years. I think he's a free agent currently as we speak. Mack Hollins had no more than 25-30 catches for under 200 some yards. I think he had like 2 scores. You got to remember, he caught that pass from he caught one pass from it was either Nick Foles or he caught that pass from what's his name? I forgot the quarterback the Eagles tried 2016. I forgot his name. Number 11. Anyway, if you guys remember, he caught that ball from that quarterback. It was a long pass, it was a long pass actually. And I think it was against the Chicago Bears, I believe. He caught that long ball and he ran all the way into the end zone for the score. That's the only thing I remember Mack Hollins doing as such, being a receiver, catching the ball out the backfield from the quarterback and catching the ball running the end zone for the score. I think it was Chicago, I believe. Okay, the fifth wide receiver on this list is JJ Arcega-Whiteside. JJ Arcega-Whiteside, drafted 2019. Now, this guy actually never really materialized as a featured receiver. He was a bust. He was a complete bust. And when the Eagles I think he had a couple of injured plagued seasons, and the Eagles released him, and he wound up going to the Seattle Seahawks. He played the Seattle, I believe, and played a few years over there. And I think he's also currently a free agent. So of this entire draft class, now in comes Johnny Wilson. Johnny Wilson, tallest receiver the Eagles ever had. This boy is 6'6", 230 pounds. He's the first tallest receiver the Eagles ever had since Harold Carmichael. Harold Carmichael was 6'8". Johnny Wilson is 6'6", I believe. I think that's what they said. I think he's 6'6". And from what I've seen on Johnny Wilson so far, he seemed to be the legitimate thing. He's getting a lot of snaps with the first team from what I've heard. But at first he was part of the second team, but he got promoted up to the first team. And so I'm gonna say this: if Johnny Wilson wound up being if he wound up becoming the third wide receiver the Eagles put on the roster after being drafted in the 6th round of this season, this past NFL draft, he would be the first receiver the Eagles ever had that got drafted this late, played that good, and the tallest since Harold Carmichael. So we can go ahead and say JJ Arcega-Whiteside, Mack Hollins were your bust, along with Marvin McNutt. So of these 6 receivers, the Eagles only had 3 busts: Marvin McNutt, Mack Hollins, and JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Those 3 receivers were the Eagles bust. Now we can go ahead and talk about some of the other receivers the Eagles ever had, let me see, who can I mention up in there? What the boy name? He just retired from the Eagles this year. Number 10, him. We can put Josh Huff in there. We could put the other receiver the Eagles had this past offseason. He playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers now. He's having 1 year deal with Pittsburgh. We can mention all these receivers the Eagles have ever had. And of these 6 receivers so far, Marvin McNutt, Matt Hollins, and J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Those three guys were the Eagles' bust in Eagles history and receivers being played or being drafted overall. We can't say much about Johnny Wilson not yet because he hasn't played out. He hasn't played out a single down this year. But if he become the receiver, the third option at receiver the Eagles have ever had, Wilson couldn't get as much as 30 or 40 catches this year for 400 or 500 yards, maybe 3 or 4 scores. And these all should be red zone targets for him because Johnny Wilson does have the speed. From what I've seen, tapes on, he has the speed, he has the strength to body himself from being from catching the ball because he can go right up and catch the ball at his highest peak and come down with the ball for a first down or for the yards that he get before contact because he has the size. And I believe this season the Eagles will be talking a lot about Johnny Wilson if he be who we think he can be. And I expect them to mention Harold Carmichael between this year and this year if Wilson do real well in his first year as a rookie. So a lot need to be said about the receivers the Eagles have ever had in the past going into the future because Marvin McNutt, Jordan Matthews, Hollins, and Arcega-Whiteside, those guys are the receivers of the past. From 2019 to 2012, that is what, 7 years? The Eagles have had receivers drafted between 12 and 19, and that's 7 years. And like I said, and of those four wide receivers, only Jordan Matthews was the only one who actually was something at the third option at receiver. He was the only one that was something. Marvin McNutt, Matt Hollins, and Arcega-Whiteside. Those guys were three straight busts. Never did much of any damn thing. So now it's gonna be up to Johnny Wilson. And I'm gonna say this also: if you want to mention Jordan Matthews in this, you could say Johnny Wilson will be also the first receiver to get some scores and yards since Jordan Matthews. I'm talking about the tall receiver. I'm talking about receiver that's 6'3" or taller. He'll be the first receiver since Jordan Matthews and the first since Harold Carmichael to have some yards, so many catches, so many yards, and 3 or 4 scores, maybe 5 touchdowns this season alone. He'll be the first. So, with that being said, I am the Almighty Green Talent. You guys enjoy your Thursday. I just want to talk about the wide receiver Eagles had in the past and the ones they got now. I am out of here. Peace.